Good evening, everybody. Like Antonia said, I'm Funlayo Alabi, and I'm really excited to share some of my learnings about menopause and your skin. I want to thank some of the ladies in my personal community here, a few of my Queen's College old girls on this call this evening. I see Rahila. If I go through, I'm sure I'll find quite a few, but I'm really excited that Meno Haven is a place where, we can have people from all our different communities that we belong to, our schoolmates, to come join this community, because it really is in community that we are able to appreciate this season in life that we're going through. And just like Antonia said, we don't have to navigate it alone. If you try and go alone, you are actually going to feel like you're losing your mind, and you're not. We're all in the same boat. So with that being said, let's hop right into it. Menopause and your skin. I always love to manage expectations when I do presentations. And so here are two things I'm going to say. My intention this evening, is not to share with you steps to make you look like your 20-year-old self. I'm not going to teach you how to age backwards. I'm not even going to teach you how to age gracefully. But what I would like to do is to celebrate you for the woman you are today, for all you've accomplished, the challenges you've overcome, and everything that you have done today, and the beauty that is resident within you, that is ageless. And my goal is that by the end of this presentation, we would all have learned some tools to make our radiance and our glow be more prominent. Does that sound like a good goal? I hope so. So let's go to the next slide. Aging is a gift. Aging is a privilege. It's not a punishment. Before I go any further, I want to take a minute for reflection. And I want every woman on this platform to reflect on the blessing of being as old as you are. It doesn't matter if you're 41 or 80. Think about the blessing that has come as a result of this gift of aging. There's a Yoruba proverb that says, "Eni tó bá monoro ló máa mọpẹ́ dá." I know there are several versions of that. And at this age we're in, reflection in order to give proper thanks is so important. Your body is going through so much. Your hormones are going through so much. They're taking you up and down. There are probably things going on around you in your family, in your career, that maybe are causing you to be anxious, upset, or just feeling out of it. But taking a minute of reflection to count your blessings is something I want us to do now. And I want to invite one or two people to share something that they are grateful for as a result of being older. What gift has aging been to you? Antonia, let me know if they will be able to unmute or raise their hand.
You can raise your hand. You can raise your hand, or some of them are already dropping it in the comments. But if you want to speak, you can raise your hand.
Oh, I'm seeing some of them. I am grateful for being wiser. I am grateful that I am alive, hale and hearty. Amen. Please drop some more. Drop some more. Why are you grateful? Perhaps you're 45, 55. I just turned 60 last month. I'm grateful that I get to see my children grow up. What about you? Grateful for the experiences I've had. Absolutely. Oyeyinka, grateful for the experiences. Those cannot be traded. I am grateful that I am calmer. Yes. I am very grateful for God's love. Amen. Amen. And we can go on, and I invite you to be thoughtful about why you're grateful, why aging is a gift. The alternative to aging is to be dead. The alternative to having some wrinkles or a middle age load that you are carrying would be to be in the grave. So aging is actually God giving us another day of life to live. And God doesn't give us life to punish us. He gives it to us to be blessed and to be a blessing. So as people put their gratitudes in the chat, I'm going to move on to the next slide. I like the one that Joyce said, I am grateful for all what my body can do. Amen. And then Adiola said, I'm grateful for turning 60 in good health. Joy, I am very grateful for all what God has given me. Amen. Chinasa, I'm grateful for having a very supportive family. Adora, I'm grateful for the knowledge available that I am not losing my mind, but transitioning. Grateful for the wisdom of age. Amen. Amen. Awesome. So let's move right into the presentation and keep dropping your gratitudes. So here are the facts. The facts are these, that when we go into menopause, as we approach it and go into menopause, there are hormonal changes and visible shifts that happen. These shifts come as a result of estrogen decline. And estrogen decline affects so many things, from the way our brains work to the way our bodies are handling fat to our skin. And I'm going to be focusing primarily on how menopause affects our skin. So the estrogen decline impacts our skin barrier. It affects collagen levels, and even it affects the oil production in the skin. So when you compare premenopause skin to postmenopause skin, premenopause skin is the skin we had when we were younger. It's firmer, plumper, and more elastic. It has higher collagen levels. It's more hydrated and has more of a balanced oil production. And the key is that it has faster cell renewal and healing. So remember when you were a teenager, when you were in your 20s and 30s, and you were looking in the mirror, and you were complaining about your face and your skin and all those things. How many of you go back and look at your 20-year-old, your 16-year-old self, and you're like, wow, she was so beautiful and she didn't even know it? And that's something that I believe that many of us look at and we're like, wow, I was really quite beautiful and I didn't know it, because there's a certain beauty and winsomeness that comes from youth that God gives us at that season in time. Now, when we transition into perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause skin, there is a drop in estrogen levels. And what does that do? It makes our skin thinner, less elastic, more prone to sagging. There is significant collagen loss. Skin tends to be drier because of less oil production. And then the skin heals slower and the renewal is slower, which can lead to dullness. And so part of what we're going to do today is solve for the loss that comes as a result of our skin being more mature. So when I said looking back and I look at my 16-year-old and 20-year-old's face and I was like, oh, look at how pretty and innocent and unflawed she looks. But I also know that 16 and 20-year-old didn't have experience, didn't know much, hadn't enjoyed life, hadn't seen all that God was going to do in her life. And now, looking forward to my 60-year-old self, there are losses that are occurring on the physical, but in terms of my spiritual and emotional life, I am so much richer than I was when I was 16 and even 20. So I wouldn't trade anything to be back at 16, 20, 30, or even 40. I love where I am now. But with all that being said, there are things that we can do that can help supplement what we're losing as a result of the decline in estrogen. Next slide, please. Thank you. Last year, I did a survey of almost 100 women, all over the age of 40. And the top 4 complaints women who were in perimenopause and menopause had was dryness, dullness, discoloration, and a loss of elasticity in their skin. And I'm talking primarily about the skin on their face. Dryness, dullness, discoloration, and loss of elasticity. So I want to take a quick survey, and I would like you to drop your top 2 complaints, your skincare complaints that you've had since you've started transitioning, as you've gotten older. What is your top complaint? Is it the discoloration? Is it the loss of elasticity? Is it dryness or dullness? I'm going to give us a minute to drop these in the chat. Discoloration, got it. Loss of elasticity, discoloration, facial discoloration and dryness, dullness, discoloration and sagging, hyperpigmentation, which is also discoloration. My face has gone darker than the rest of my body, loss of elasticity, discoloration. Oh, this is a good one. Hair springing up on my face, having to pluck. Yes, those hairs can be very rude. And the more we pluck them, the more they come back with a vengeance. Discoloration and loss of elasticity, dullness and wrinkles. Are there any challenges you're facing that I did not put on the sheet? Let's see. Loss of elasticity around the neck. Melasma, which is also a form of hyperpigmentation, is a discoloration. Puffiness. Okay, I didn't have that. I first have to give a disclaimer that I am not a dermatologist. But what I am is a formulator. I work very closely with a formulator. I would say I'm a product developer, but I work very closely with a formulator to create products for the face that actually target and address the issues I have brought up, because I was going through the same thing as I was transitioning into menopause. There were some things I noticed about what I was using that was in the market that wasn't working as well for me. And I found that as a Black woman living in the United States, a woman with brown skin, that sometimes the solutions that were being offered in the market were decent, but they were not really getting into my skin the way I needed it to give the results that I wanted. And one of the things we mentioned is that as your skin gets older, the cell turnover is slower. And because the cell turnover is slower, you really need ingredients that work. I know that at this season in life, many of us don't have time for nonsense. Don't tell me to use something for 90 days and I waste a whole 90 days of my life and it doesn't work. And so I just wanted to let you know that I completely commiserate with the challenges we sometimes face with some of the things that we're buying. But I want to highlight some ingredients that you can find in products that are already in the market that will be very helpful in solving these problems. Yes, Joy, no time for nonsense. Who has time? Who has time? We don't have time. So let's go to the next slide. So one of the key complaints women have is dryness and dehydration. As estrogen drops, our skin produces less oil, and this can lead to a tight, uncomfortable dryness in the face, especially after we wash our faces. One of the leading ingredients for dehydration that we have discovered is mushrooms. I should say our mushrooms. Mushrooms have been used as supplements for many years. They're very popular. They're really powerful antioxidants, and they've been used as adaptogens. So just like ashwagandha is an adaptogen, mushrooms like chaga, tremella, lion's mane, turkey tail, all these mushrooms are really good as ingestibles. And when I say ingestibles, you can have them in coffee and tea. They really act as a great supplement. But one of the things we found in our research is that mushrooms are actually very powerful ingredients for skincare. Not only are they natural, but they actually have a higher percentage of the actives that your skin needs to see the turnover when it comes to dryness and dehydration. So, for example, there's a mushroom called tremella, and tremella works like a natural hyaluronic acid, binding water to the skin. But the beautiful thing about tremella is that it's 5 times more effective than hyaluronic acid. So if you've used hyaluronic acid, you will find that it really does hydrate your skin compared to many other things you may have tried. But tremella mushrooms is 5 times more effective than bringing moisture to the skin. Another mushroom that is very effective for dryness and dehydration is chaga mushroom. Chaga is very rich in antioxidants, and it protects your skin from what they call free radical damage. Free radical damage is damage that occurs to your skin just as a result of living. When you wake up in the morning, you step outside, the sun, environmental pollution, all those things are working against our skin. And the older we are, the more adverse the effects of the free radical damage. Antioxidants really help balance things out by fighting free radical damage, which accelerates the aging process in the skin. So if you can eat more antioxidants and have face care products that are rich in antioxidants, that's protective to your skin. Antioxidants also calm irritation. So antioxidants can be mushrooms. They can also be oils like baobab, which is available in the market. It's an African oil. It occurs naturally. Baobab oil are rich in antioxidants, and they can help strengthen the skin barrier. So together, you can use these ingredients can be used to restore a supple and comfortable skin, getting rid of the dryness. So just a quick cheat sheet on some of the ingredients that we have researched and found are amazing for mature skin is the tremella mushroom. It holds 500 times its water weight, and it plumps and deeply hydrates. And then the chaga mushroom, because it's rich in antioxidants, it calms irritation and protects from environmental stress. And then baobab oil nourishes and strengthens the skin barrier. And one of the things I would say for women with dry skin and dehydration is I always recommend a moisture layering technique. So that means that wash your face with a gentle cleanser. If you're using any cleanser that leaves your skin feeling tight, you most likely should change it. Find a cleanser that has chamomile or calendula or aloe vera in it so that it cleans without stripping. And then the next thing you want to do after you've cleansed your skin, and this is just very simple, is you want to use something that has water in it for your face. It could be a serum, it could be a lotion. Put that in so that your skin can absorb it. And then the third step you want to do is lock in all that hydrating and moisture with an oil. So I typically like to recommend an oil at nighttime. So you put on you cleanse your face, you do your treatments, maybe with a serum, you put on a lotion, and then you lock it all in with a nice oil. And that will strengthen your skin and deal with dryness and dehydration. Let's move to the next slide. Is that the second one? Dull, tired skin. All right. Okay, perfect. Dull, tired skin. One of the things about getting older that I know many of us hate is, and it's not that we don't like getting older. It's like, but does my skin have to look so tired, for crying out loud? And that dullness and tiredness, I'm telling you, that is a battle I think every woman fights, because who wants to look dull and who wants to look tired? And even when you're not tired and people are asking you if you're tired, it's so insulting. Goodness. But anyway, dullness happens when skin turnover slows, circulation decreases, and the oxidative stress takes its toll. So that's what I was talking about, the free radical damage. Just being alive and walking through life it takes its toll on our skin. The stress of life takes its toll on our skin. If your job is stressful, if you're a business owner and it's stressful, if your kids are stressing you out, if your darling husband is stressing you out, all those available vitamin C. And it's really great for the skin. It will give you that boost. However, vitamin C that is in water over time does become a little unstable and may not be as effective as you continue to use it. There's a second type vitamin C. It's called THDA. And I'm not going to try and pronounce the whole word. It's tetrahydroxy something, blah, blah, blah. I went to school, but it's a long word. So everyone in the industry calls it THDA. And this is a more stable form of vitamin C. It's more powerful than the water-based vitamin C, and it can be put into oil. So something like a THDA oil in a really nice, a THDA vitamin C sitting in a really nice oil, maybe like an olive oil or a baobab oil or marula or moringa oil, can be really good for your skin and in terms of helping you get your glow back. Another ingredient that is really good if you have dull, tired skin is niacinamide. And I know many of us are familiar with niacinamide. It really strengthens and refines the skin texture. So it helps accelerate the turnover of skin cells to help reveal newer, brighter skin. So niacinamide is a really great one. And then chaga mushrooms also delivers a surge of antioxidants, which can also help you get that natural, healthy glow back. And so dull, tired skin, you don't have to live with it. Because here's one thing I found is that even if you have wrinkles, deep wrinkles, if your skin is radiant, if your skin is glowing, even your wrinkles will look more interesting. But when your skin is dull, everything about you is almost like lights out. And, you won't even feel yourself. So I'm going to just kind of let you think on that. Give me 1 second, please. I need to take a quick pause. Okay. So let's move on to the next slide. Now, this is a big one: uneven skin tone, discoloration, dark spots. I would even venture to say that before many of us hit menopause, this has always been a battle that we women who have melanin in our skin struggle with. Hyperpigmentation is an overproduction of melanin or pigment. And typically it occurs at the site where there is some trauma. So maybe you had a pimple, you picked it, in the healing process, hyperpigmentation can occur, meaning that more melanin is being produced at the site of the trauma. As we get older, even when we don't have trauma to our skin, maybe you're not even having spots or whatever, but your skin just feels uneven, the skin under your eye, on your cheeks, all that becomes discolored and more obvious to you. And so it occurs most often during menopause. It can happen during pregnancy when there are hormonal shifts, and also it can happen as a result of sun damage to the skin. There are some really amazing ingredients that are natural, non-bleaching, that are good for your skin. We don't want to go anywhere near hydroquinone because it is actually toxic. And if it is to be administered, I strongly recommend, if you need something like a hydroquinone, because the discoloration is deep, I would say definitely work with a reputable dermatologist who will compound it, right? And then give you the protocol for using it to deal with your skin. But just grabbing a hydroquinone product from India or wherever they're making and putting on your skin will end up causing problems. And I know that a lot of women have bleached their skin to a point of damage, and it needs to be repaired. So I just want to put that caveat there, that while we're dealing with discoloration, dark spots, uneven skin tone, to make sure that we're not damaging our skin, make sure we're not stripping it down, making sure that we're not completely wrecking the outer layer, that as we get older, there's really nothing to work with in terms of getting your skin back and getting it to glow. So a couple of really great ingredients that we have researched and found is an extract called glabridine. It's extracted from licorice roots, and it has brightening agents in it that help reduce hyperpigmentation. When you combine two ingredients that work with hyperpigmentation, you get a better result. And that's where the white shiitake mushroom comes in, because white shiitake mushroom helps regulate melanin pathways, and it gently fades discoloration to restore evenness. And so when you have the glabridine extract working with the shiitake mushroom, you have the glabridine working on the discoloration on the outside, and the white shiitake supporting the melanin balance so that the discoloration fades. And these are all natural ingredients. God has already put it in the earth for us to be able to use and extract and use it to help us kind of overcome some of the skincare challenges. And then with uneven skin tone, I also want to repeat the benefits of having a really good vitamin C serum or oil or lotion, because vitamin C also adds to the brightening of the skin. Like with everything else, especially when you're working on fading dark spots, it's important to use sunscreen, especially in those areas where the dark spots are. If you don't wear sunscreen, what happens is that these ingredients are working hard, but you're not going to see the results because those areas will keep getting dry. And just remember, everything about skin will take a minute for you to see the work. But if the product is put together very well, you should begin to see results in about a week or two. Let's go to the next slide. Sagging and loss of firmness. So this is due to collagen degradation. One of the biggest changes as we age is the loss of elasticity. The skin starts to sag as collagen decreases. Here are some recommendations we have. Tremella mushroom, I mentioned that before. It holds 500 times its water weight, and it stimulates the collagen in your skin. And then there are ingredients that are also organic ingredients, seaweed, like sagacious. There's another one. Just the seaweed extracts are really great in terms of finding products that will actually help restore firmness to the skin and stimulate the collagen. So definitely looking for seaweed extracts and tremella mushrooms. Those are really good. And what they do is that they give a slight plumpness and tightness to the skin that you can feel almost immediately. They also strengthen the skin structure, and they bring back some of that bounce that may be missing in your skin. I'm trying to remember the name of and the other seaweed that I have used in the past, but the sagacious, that one in particular comes from France. I'm sure you can find it all over the world, and I'm hoping that we can even find an African source. I'm sure somewhere on the shores of Tanzania are some really good seaweeds that, we can extract the actives and use it for collagen stimulation and elastin production. So let's go to the next slide. So I've shared everything about, the 4 key areas where women struggle: dullness, dryness, discoloration, and lack of collagen in the skin. And I've shared basically about ingredients that you can use to support you and to handle some of these challenges that you might be facing. But I'm going to be really real with you and say sometimes you need to see a dermatologist. Sometimes the solution you need is not in a jar, because the situation might be a lot more severe that you need extra support. So ladies, I want to tell you what your options are, because we're all grown women here, and you need to know what is out there and what you can explore. So dermatologists have incredible tools for mature skin. There are things like chemical peels to refresh the surface, lasers, you have IPL that target discoloration. There are things called microneedling with PRP that stimulates your collagen. And for those who are struggling with deeper lines or serious volume loss, or, if it's around your neck and those areas, creams can only do so much. You might need to see a dermatologist. And once again, I want to tell you that these options are not about chasing youth, because I don't even care if you get a facelift. If you're 50, you are still 50 with a facelift. But we don't need, I'm not, recommending that, people need to do things that drastic. But remember that your face is your face and your age is your age. What you're trying to do is look and feel your best for your age, not to chase youth. So this is all about giving your skin the extra boost when you want it. And the other thing I found about us women is that when our skin looks good, when we feel like the discoloration is under control and our skin is glowing, we actually feel so good and so confident that we forget about our skin. Isn't that right? That when you are looking well put together, your hair is right, your nails are done and everything, you don't spend a lot of time thinking about yourself. To the contrary, when you feel good about yourself, it frees you up to focus on other things around you, because you're not worrying about how you look. You're not worrying about makeup, because, if your skin looks so tight, it's so amazing, it's like whether you have makeup on or not, it doesn't matter, because you look great. So that's why I like to offer these solutions, because I know that as women, we are holistic. We're not just one thing. One thing affects all things when it comes to women. So I'm going to run through a list I did some quick research on some of the things that dermatologists can do for us as women. So in the area of dryness and texture, chemical peels can be very helpful. The reason I'm saying dermatology as opposed to just going for a facial is that the dermatologists have access to more concentrated actives that they can put in the peels that are different from when you just go for a regular facial. The lady, your esthetician, can give you a great facial, but if you need like a treatment for someone to go deep, you would probably have to talk to a dermatologist, and they would have to do that kind of peel in their office. And these chemical peels can boost cell turnover and improve hydration absorption. So you'll find out that when you have a dermatology done chemical peel, it will do the turnover so that the products you are using, your regular facial products, will actually even work better, because all the dead cells have been removed and your skin is just ready to absorb all the great ingredients in your skincare product. For dullness, some dermatologists do laser resurfacing. And what it does over time is that it brightens and smooths the texture of your skin, and it also stimulates collagen production in your skin. Isn't that awesome? Then there's things called IPL. It's called intense pulse light. Some women who have tried it feel like it helped them with their dark spots and sun damage to give them a better skin tone. And then for those who are battling loss of elasticity, there's a procedure that is called microneedling with PRP, and it's tiny controlled injuries to the skin that forces the skin to heal itself. And in forcing the skin to heal itself, the skin is producing more collagen. So it's almost like traumatize your skin to make it heal, and that healing is what brings the volume to your skin. And then for volume loss and fine lines or maybe deeper lines, there's dermal fillers. There's, people are doing Botox. Some people there's another one, Restylane, that is not as strong as Botox, that can fill in for the volume loss that might be in the cheeks. I know most Black people, we don't lose volume in our lips, thank God. But, some people will do that, and it can only be done by a dermatologist if that is the route you decide to go through. Just giving you options, ladies. Next slide. So as I'm beginning to wrap up, Toyin, my cousin Toyin is on, and she's a medical doctor. She also mentioned that as people with Black skin, we tend to be prone to keloids. And so I always recommend that if you're going to do any of the things mentioned in the dermatology slide, that you find a dermatologist who specializes in Black skin. And this is especially true for those of us who live outside of Africa. I would say find a Black dermatologist who knows all the nuances of working with Black skin. And for those of us who are on the continent, make sure you're dealing with a reputable dermatologist, not someone who just comes in, does procedures, and bails out. Because this is your skin. And a lot of these procedures, like the laser treatment, if they're not done right, if they're done and you're not given correct direction that, if you're going to have laser, stay off retin-A or salicylic acid or whatever you've been using on your face, and you're just going for laser treatment, it could completely damage your face. So make sure you're dealing with a reputable person. Thank you, Toyin, for that reminder. So earlier on, I said, as women, everything affects everything, right? We are just very holistic. Everything is connected. So beyond what we're putting on our face, there are other things that will affect our skin as we are navigating menopause. 3 things. It's what we eat, it's how we move, and how we rest. You can have the best skincare routine, the best dermatologist on the planet, and if you're not eating well, if you're not resting, and if you're not moving, you are getting all the rest that your body needs, because it will affect your skin. If I can touch on nutrition one more time, respect your body and respect the fact that you're in a different season of life. I know that for me, as I started going into my 40s, I started finding that all the ice cream I could eat in my 20s and 30s, I couldn't do it anymore. That if I ate ice cream, there was a way it made me feel. I had to start eliminating a lot of foods that were no longer serving me. They did not hurt me when I was younger, but as I approached perimenopause and menopause, I had to take a step back and decide how I wanted to age. And so if you're on this platform and you're still drinking sodas like on a regular basis, I want to beg you to stop, because the sugar that is in sodas, whether Coke or ginger ale, you're drinking them every day, is hurting you. It's going to affect your sugar levels and it's going to affect your skin. And I'm not trying to be preachy, because I myself, I have a sweet tooth, but knowing how to kind of manage it and knowing that I can't go at it the way I used to, when I was younger, and being judicious, like this chocolate bar that I want to eat, it has to be offset with other things. Just having the consciousness that you may need to change the way you eat so that it's reflected in your skin and your sense of well-being. Don't forget to eat your greens, to drink lots of water, and just to eat to fuel your body. One of the beautiful things about being in Africa and Nigeria in particular is that if you really want to eat well, there's so many vegetables available in the market that you can be eating on a regular basis. And, the whole thing about GMOs being brought to Nigeria is a whole nother issue that we need to deal with. But just eat organic and eat fresh, and your skin will thank you. And then going on to exercise, we already had a presenter, I think it was last month, who talked about exercise. Exercise is amazing because not only does it strengthen your body and help you to look good in your clothes, and also to help you build muscle, which we tend to lose as we get older. Exercise is also really good for your mind, because when you exercise, when you go out there to walk, or you're sweating or doing something, it actually releases some chemicals in your brain that actually give you a lift. So if you're struggling with anxiety, some mild depression, exercise can actually give you that mood boost that you need. And who doesn't need a mood boost? Let's go to the next slide. Dopamine. Thank you, Chinenye. You see, the word, it was right there. It was hiding in the file in my brain. Thank you very much. Dopamine. Yes. So, like I said, rest equals repair. Sleep is sacred, self-care. They talk about bedtime hygiene. How to prepare for bed. If you're someone who struggles to go to bed, it means that even 2 hours before bedtime, you have to start preparing yourself for rest. It goes to, making sure that there are no electronic devices. Maybe take that nice shower. Maybe put some lavender on your wrist. Making sure that your sleep area is nice and quiet. And then going to bed at a regular time so your body can get the rest. And even if you feel like you're not sleeping, just lay there and rest. because you need it. Next slide. Like I mentioned, beauty is from the inside. What we eat ultimately shows on our skin. I know that when I fall off the bandwagon and I eat badly, I can see it in my skin. What happens is that I immediately have dark rings under my eyes. I mean, I've been kind of prone to that anyway, but when I eat badly, it becomes exacerbated. It's like you cannot even cheat this 50, 60-year-old body. Everything that goes in your mouth immediately shows up on your face. So you can't even lie. Eh? So please, eat well. When you eat well, it shows up in your skin. And that's part of the radiant glow that we're all looking for. Next slide. And like we said, move for glow. Move for glow. Get moving, get walking, join a walk group, or go on YouTube, turn on that YouTube and follow some of the instructors there and do what they're doing. Like I said, we had a fitness instructor in Menno Haven, walk us through some movements. It's so important to do that. Next slide, please. And finally, in everything we do, whether it be caring for our skin, getting enough sleep, getting enough movement, eating well, let's shoot to be consistent and let's give ourselves grace. The goal is not for us to be able to brag that we work out 5 times a week or we only eat organic. That's not the goal. The goal is to just come from a place of being kind to this temple God has given us and realizing that we're stewards of it. One of the things that keeps occurring to me is at this age, they're all so wise and we have so much experience and we've seen so much that we're in a position now to be mentors and teachers. We're in a position now to take on projects that we would have been afraid to take on when we were in our 20s. But if our bodies break down, no matter how big our dreams are, those dreams are not going to come to pass. And so self-care, investing in your wellness and not allowing stress to completely break you down is an investment in your future. It's an investment in your children's future, your family's future, because you can't pour out of an empty glass. So I want really to use that to encourage you that everything we're talking about today, all the encouragement that is being offered at Menno Haven is really to allow you to begin to live your fullest life, because you are actually really full right now. You are like a full woman. You have so much to give. And you don't want the stress. You don't want bad eating habits. You don't want being not feeling your best because your skin is not what it should be. Don't want that to hold you back. And like I said, we're not trying to be 20-year-olds or 30-year-olds. We want to be authentic, mature, seasoned, and extremely beautiful women. Let's go to the next slide. And so, ladies, your glow days are ahead. You are beautiful in your skin at every age. And please don't forget that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Funlayo, for that very, very, very exciting, educating, entertaining one. We absolutely learned. Like, you can see the applause on the screen. Everybody here has
Thank
learned
you.
so much from what you've done. We really appreciate you. God bless you for that very wonderful presentation. Um, if you have any questions from Mrs. Funlayo, you can put them in the chat box. We do have a couple of questions from the community, and I'm going to ask her the questions so that you can get your answer. But if you're not on the community, you can join. The link will be dropped in the chat box, and you can join right now. And then you have access to more experts, just like Mrs. Funlayo, who address different fields, and they will help you with anything that you need regarding menopause or any questions you have regarding menopause. But if you have any questions for Mrs. Funlayo, please drop it on the chat box right now. Okay, let me start with the first question. the community. And the first question is, how do we know the right products for one skin type, especially combination type on the face?
How do you know can you repeat the question again?
How do you know the right products for one skin type, especially combination on the face?
That's a really good question. So I would say that a well-formulated product line should create balance, whether you have combination skin or not.
But you can talk with your camera off because we can't hear you anymore.
Skin. So really, the goal is to find really sophisticated formulations or products that work for almost all skin types. Then I think the area where we try and tease things out and make things different is there are products that work on specific problems, like if you're dealing with hyperpigmentation or if you need to boost your collagen, then you can have specialized products. But in my opinion, a great face wash, a great toner, a great daily moisturizer should balance out even people who have combination skin.
Okay, thank you very much. Next question. What ingredients are red flags for women in SOC?
What is SOC?
That is SO, capital S, small letter O, and then capital C.
I would say definitely hydroquinone, because hydroquinone tends to bleach the skin. And, plain hyperpigmentation and wanting to brighten your skin is completely different from bleaching. Hydroquinone tends to kind of remove the melanin from the skin, and then it leaves the skin vulnerable. And so you'll find that people who have really abused hydroquinone, over time, they start developing like even some other different type of hyperpigmentation that almost makes their skin blue. So I would say for women of color, skin of color, women with skin of color, which would be almost all of us on this line, that would be one of my red flags.
Much. Next question. Thank you very much. How do we handle melasma, hyperpigmentation, and aging skin issues?
How do we handle melasma and aging skin issues?
Yes.
Okay, so this question might have come up earlier when I was going through the presentation, but I believe I touched on all those questions. Melasma is also a form of hyperpigmentation. It is a discoloration. Most people that have melasma, it can occur as a result of hormonal shifts. I know some women have experienced it during pregnancy, and some also experience it as they're going through menopause. A brightening serum or brightening solution can help gently fade the evidences of melasma on the skin. And what was the second part of the question?
Okay, so the final question from the community is, how can one person heal skin issues from the inside?
Great. And I'm going to make the presentation available. Skin issues from the inside has to do with diet, what you're doing in terms of what you're putting into your body. Are you getting enough water? I find that sometimes, a lot of the time, if I'm not drinking enough water, it affects what my skin looks like. If I'm consuming a lot of sugar, it affects what my skin looks like. If I'm eating a lot of processed foods, it affects what my skin looks like. So it starts definitely from the inside out to get your skin right. And then if you feel like you have such serious conditions that products are not working, definitely see a dermatologist. I mean, I am all for using topical products, and I'm a big advocate of skincare products that do what they say they will do and that they don't waste your time. But also, you may have a skin condition that is so severe that really you need medical intervention to get you back on the right path so that these products what they're doing is enhancing and working on what your doctor has already prescribed for you. So just kind of keep that in mind.
Okay, that's all for the questions from the Menno Haven community. The link to join is in the chat box, so you can tap on the link on the chat box and then join the community. Now I'm taking questions from the chat box. What products do I use for hot flush and internal need for water?
What products do you use for what?
Hot flush. I think the person meant
Hot
hot
flashes?
flushes. Yeah, I think the person meant hot flashes, probably.
Well, I'm a lotion maker. I don't know what to take for hot flashes. See your OBGYN. I mean, there are a lot of recommended things that women are taking for hot flashes. Some women are on hormone replacement therapy. Some are doing it the herbal way. That's not really my area of expertise, so I would kind of decline from giving my opinion on that.
Okay. Next question. What are your thoughts on edible mushroom diets and how that helps with promoting healthy skin?
Edible mushrooms, I actually use some mushroom powders. I've forgotten the brand that I use. I put it in my coffees, and it's lion's mane and some other blend of mushrooms that I really love. And I find out that when I put them in my coffee, I think like a third of a teaspoon in my morning coffee, I find that I find it calming and soothing. So what are my thoughts on them? Barring any conditions that you may have, and I will definitely, leave it up to the doctors on this chat to give you advice on that. My experience has been really good with that. I really do feel like, when I take these mushroom powders, that I do feel a sense of relief and calmness. It's mild, but it's better than nothing. But as always, check with your doctor. If you have compromised systems, if you have kidney or liver conditions, your doctor might say, you know what, since this is not a medical product and we don't know what effect it might have on your body, I would recommend that you stay away from it. But everyone is an individual. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Funlayo. That is a wrap on the questions for the webinar. If you have more, you can join our community, our Mental Haven community, through the link in the chat box, and you can ask your question anytime, and then Mrs. Funlayo or any other experts we have in the community can give you all the answers that you need. Thank you very much for answering all the questions today. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. We truly appreciate you.